So now that you see how simple it is with Celsius, you can earn about 8.88% yearly interest rate on your USDC, or they have other options for other stablecoins. The beauty is that they actually pay you out per week, but there's obviously an interest rate change per week as well. But it ranges about 8 to 11%, and it's pretty predictable, at least for as long as I've been watching it. Let's say hypothetically that you didn't want to buy Bitcoin and you invested in USDC alone, you'd actually make more than the S&P 500. And after 30 years, you'll actually make about 18.25% more if you would invested in USDC rather than the S&P 500, which equals to about 150K loss. So it's actually just doing that and holding stablecoins is more lucrative than traditional finance in general. But let's say hypothetically, you take half of that money, instead put it in an appreciating asset like Bitcoin, and then half in USDC. We know how much you're gonna make off USDC. Let's figure out how much you're gonna make off Bitcoin. All right, check out these two charts here from the past 3 to 5 years. BTC in the last 5 years grew 5,105%. And in the last 3 years, it grew 389%. As you can see, as BTC gets older, it's going to grow less and less. According to the law of diminishing returns, as you put more money into any asset like BTC, the volatility should lower and become more stable. Taking that into consideration, I actually got my data analyst to jump on this problem. So if you guys look right here, we actually use the BLX to make this data science model, and we're just using logarithmic regression. It's very simple. As you can see, we did it for Bitcoin's price in a 30-year period and a 10-year period. It's funny because we try to do Ethereum, but Ethereum is actually not as lucrative as Bitcoin by percentage gain. So we're going to stick for at least this retirement, being that Bitcoin's so certain. This retirement's going to be Bitcoin and USDC based, and we'll give you options for both. You could see that if you go out 30 years, Bitcoin's price could potentially be $2.4 million, right? It's actually pretty crazy. If you go out 10 years, the prediction model is saying Bitcoin's price could be roughly $196,000. So based on these predictions, all we have to do is figure out approximately how much Bitcoin can cost per month and then make that investment with the $575 that we got for our investment in retirement. So just to give you a quick explanation of logarithmic regression, it's basically just a prediction regression line that people use to predict prices of anything, to be completely honest. Now, let me show you something else, because the compound effect is very lucrative. As you can see here, we're getting the $575. So if we invested that only in BTC over a period of 30 years, you could see that your investment will be pretty big, about what, $2.4 million. Over 10 years, if you invest $575, you could see that your investment will be about $210,000. So that's very interesting. Now, if we do, for example, half BTC and half USDC, as you can see here, we split up that monthly investment over a 30-year time. Your BTC investment will obviously be about half, which is 1.2 million. And then your USDC investment will be about $500,000, $513,879. It's really interesting. So it's a little bit safer, of course, taking that into consideration. So the mixed portfolio over a 30-year will be about $1.7 million. So obviously, if you invest in Bitcoin, it's going to be, a little bit more. But remember, you're taking on more risk with the volatile asset. If you want a more passive approach, you can go 50-50, and you're losing about what, $700,000. But remember, it's just decreased risk. We know that stablecoins are going to be here. We know that 90% of all money on the internet is digital. So for a government to adopt a government-backed currency or a stablecoin, it's just much more, I wouldn't say likely, but it's just a safer approach. All right, so let's go over the complete details so you guys understand the math. So as you can see here, for the average income and the average expenses in the United States worker, you get about 6,907 to invest per year. Now that's a per year calculation. People usually invest like something per month. So let's do like a per month passive investment, right? Assuming that the interest in the S&P 500 is only 8% and USDC is 8.88%, you'll actually make more in USDC if you just did that. Now, if we look at just the S&P 500, you can see that after 10 years, you get about 105,000, and after 30 years, you get about 821,000. Now, if you just invested in USDC, it's a little bit more. You get about 110,000 in 10 years, and then in 30 years, you get 971,000. Now, if you just did all BTC and not just USDC, all BTC, you get about 210,000, almost double than the S&P 500, and then you get 2.4 million after 30 years. Okay, but obviously that's risky. So what I recommend and what I would do if I was passively investing, I'll go 50-50 BTC and USD, right? And you can see that it's still way more lucrative. After 10 years, you get about $160,000 if you do the 50-50 split. In comparison to the S&P 500, we only have 105,000. And after 30 years, you get 1.6, 1.7 million in comparison to 821,000. No matter which way you cut it, as you can see here for the 30-year comparison, all USDC is 18.25% more lucrative. All BTC is 193.51% more lucrative, and 50-50 split is 105% more lucrative, okay? So here's the actual physical dollar amounts that you will actually make more in comparison to traditional investing. If you look at all USDC, you actually make $150,000 more. If you look at all BTC, you make about $1.6 million more than investing in the S&P 500. If you look at the 50-50 split, you make $870,000 more in this type of strategy. And this is obviously assuming that you understand what crypto means and you understand that it's going to last for a very long time. If you look at, for example, the smartest people, Michael Saylor, we have Jack Dorsey, all these big tech type of people that invested in the infrastructure of the current internet, right? That kind of predicted, where we're going to be today. These guys are predicting the future. Remember, government's already adopting it. We have, countries making it legal tender. There's a lot of bullish, very, very bullish, undeniable facts about cryptocurrency nobody can argue with. But of course, this is not financial advice. That's it for this video. If you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism, subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.